tomorrow. Talk it out. Don't fight it out. The time by the Ministry of National Security is
6:30.
The political machines of both the Jamaica Labour Party and the People's National Party have been trekking across the island for several weeks now. But guess what? The official campaign has yet to begin because there is still no date for nomination day and no date for election day. We expect those anytime now. But the fact is, we are very, very close to the date for the next general election. So what does the diaspora think about the major issues on which the election will turn here in Jamaica in a few weeks' time? Well, we have sought the views of two of our finest living overseas to hear how they are seeing things from their vantage. Election 2025, what will be the issues that determine which way Jamaicans vote? Lead Story Monday edition, let's start the show. Welcome to Lead Story on this Monday here on CVM TV. The big news in Jamaica this evening, apart from the election stuff, of course, is that notice that countries with a high overstay rate, where their citizens overstay in great numbers relative to the numbers who travel there for on tourist visas or to do business, that there will be a $15,000 bond that they will have to post to ensure, well, to make it more, to incentivize them returning to their homeland and recouping that bond. That's the latest news. That will be published by the Trump administration on Tuesday. We are here, and that is setting the agenda. That's what the local news houses are talking about in the main. What they are also talking about is the elections for 2025, the general elections, the 18th since universal adult suffrage in 1944, and what the PNP and the JLP have been doing so far to convince voters to mark the X for them come election day. As I said at the top of the show, we've gone outside the country to canvass the views of Jamaicans who are watching things here but who are not here. They're outside the country doing work, raising their families, but paying keen attention, keeping a close eye to what's happening here. Criminal defense attorney from the law firm from the early law firm, not the late law firm, Casey Early, is with us. Andrea Service, president of AD Enterprise, is also here. Good evening, ladies.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening. Andrea, let me start with you. Election 2025 is nigh. We expect the Prime Minister to announce the date for the holding of the polls on Sunday, is what we're being told. From your vantage, what are the issues that Jamaicans should contemplate most seriously as they move to make that important decision come election day?
Right. Let me first say happy 63rd Independence to all of our Jamaican in the diaspora and in Jamaica. I am truly excited for this moment, but to answer your question, most of us are more incentivized by the decrease in crime, definitely an increase in tourism, infrastructure development, which I am truly happy to see a growth in Jamaica. And whenever I see a growth, that's what inspires me most as a diaspora looking out to Jamaica.
Yeah. Casey, for you, the main issues that should confront Jamaicans, or Jamaicans should contemplate rather, as they go to the polls to make that very important decision come election day, whenever that day is.
Absolutely, and thank you for having me. I've spoken to my family members back at home and also here in the diaspora, and the main concern is safety. We know that the crime rate has gone down. We know that the percentages have decreased, but there still needs to be a focus on safety as far as on the roadways. We hear complaints about the politicians. They only come around when there's an election season and they want to make sure they're heard. The people want to be heard. Safety on the roadways, education, job opportunities, and increase in pay, because what good is having this beautiful country if the people are being neglected?
Yeah. All right. Good opening, Salva, ladies. Hold it right there. I have to take my first break and come right back. Picking up the conversation with two members of our diaspora, how they see the major issues election 2025 right here in Jamaica. We expect the general election date on Sunday next week.
Sweet, you know us, the New Pack Sweet Living Promotion. Win great prizes. Send in 5 New Pack labels. Fill out the tagline. New Pack, more than just value. Time for live sweet. Enter the New Pack Sweet Living Promotion, July 13th to September 6th. See the press for more details. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winford Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
It's Mellow to the Max. Mellow-Go-Round 2025 will be at Independence Village, National Stadium Complex on Monday, August 4, 8 p.m. If you can't be there to experience the excitement, worry not. Join us for a live broadcast right here on CVM TV. Come, savor rip-roaring family entertainment, a dramatic blend of spicy traditional folk forms and hot, sizzling contemporary Jamaican dance, dub, and music. Tell your auntie, your grandpa, your niece and nephew. Tell the entire family to tune in to Mellow-Go-Round 2025, coming to you live right here on CVM TV from Independence Village, National Stadium Complex, Monday, August 4, 8 p.m. Mellow to the Max.
Welcome back to Lead Story on this Monday. Two women who are outside of Jamaica. Well, they're not that far. Both are in Florida, but they keep close ties with their friends and family in Jamaica. And of course, they pay attention to what happens in the news. Casey Early, she's a member of the Defense Bar in Florida from Early Law Firm, and Andrea Service, president of AD Enterprise. Casey, you said in the first segment that based on what your family say and what you yourself observe from where you are, the fear of crime is still high, notwithstanding the decline in homicide numbers and decline in other major crime. Can I get something else from you on that issue, the fear of crime? For someone who's outside, who has family here, what does the fear of crime mean for your thoughts about their safety and your own safety when you come home to vacation?
Absolutely. It's actually a mix of misinformation here for tourists entering into Jamaica based on news outlets, and then there is actual crime that's in Jamaica. So when you're dealing with that fear, that will decrease tourism. We're also dealing with the safety issue. When you're talking about tourists coming into Jamaica, they're afraid to travel because, let's say, the overtaken, the roads not having adequate lighting. This is a major concern. It's because if you want more tourists to come into Jamaica, then that should be the focal point, not just for the tourists, but also for the locals. So these are the things that you hear about if you just speak to the people. So the people want to be heard by whatever politician is in place, not just during the election time, but throughout their term. They want to also express their issues outside of the election season. So this is what I'm hearing from the family as well as tourists that come into Jamaica, is the fear that it's not as regulated, although the numbers have decreased.
Right. And therefore, do you get the sense that the path that the country is on, where the decline in major crimes are concerned, that it is a sustainable path, or maybe it's just a good patch that we're in?
No, I do believe that it is sustainable, but it has to be consistent. So whichever person is in leadership, they have to be consistent in not only enforcing the law, but making sure that the rules and regulations that are in place are for the betterment of the people. So it is possible that we can sustain those numbers and continue to decrease, but we want to make sure that all the rules are enforced, as well as excessive use of police force. I was looking at some of the polls, and 27% of Jamaicans believe that there is excessive use of force when dealing with law enforcement. So we want to make sure that the policies and the procedures that are in place and the people that have the power are using it within not just their discretion, but also using it to serve the people.
Andrea, from where you sit, the level of infrastructural development in the country, are you pleased with what you're seeing so far, or do you still think that there's a lot of room for improvement where the development of infrastructure around Jamaica is concerned?
We are a developing country. I left Jamaica 1994. I was age 18 at the time. And based on what I have been seeing in Jamaica for the past few years that I've been traveling more frequently, it's a consistent road pattern. Rome never built in one day, but we here in the diaspora has been truly inspired by great men like Consul General Oliver Muir, who has been really doing a great job in inspiring the diaspora to return to Jamaica, building Jamaica, and I've been seeing a pouring of health in the healthcare industry, in the infrastructure. And so I'm truly pleased with the road when we travel to Jamaica to do different mission trip. I am truly, truly inspired, and we should continue to that path.
You mentioned health, and one of the things that was prominent in a recent U.S. State Department travel advisory for Americans coming to Jamaica was the state of health facilities. The State Department advisor said, don't expect good facilities if there are healthcare needs that you must attend to. That's the view from the State Department. Based on what you would have seen in your trips back and what people here who live here, who you are close to, tell you, is healthcare and the services that exist to facilitate healthcare, are they improving or are they still below par, as the State Department would have said?
We should have been further in the healthcare, but I see there's extensive work with this current health minister. Minister Tufton has came here a couple of times to educate us how we can be a part of that changing system. So we are returning to Jamaica. We have the Jamaica Nursing Association, who just went down 2 weeks ago and donated tons of stuff. One of the biggest things we need to emphasize more is education in the healthcare, especially how I personally see the nurses treat the citizens of Jamaica. That needs to be improved. More education in the health department, more investment in the health department. So definitely we need more help in that area of concern. But while we're doing that and helping, as I said, Consul General Oliver Muir has been doing a great job. We adopt 6 clinics every year from the Jamaica 5K organization. Next month, we will be coming there to serve 500 people again in terms of their dental need. And we are just truly inspired about Diaspora willing to help Jamaica to reach a different level in our health.
Yeah.
And also I'm a registered nurse, so I am all on board when it comes to
yeah. You're an RN. Okay. Casey, one before the break. Yeah. The issue, you mentioned the use of force, and what the police will tell you when that issue is raised is that, look, in the overwhelming majority of cases in which there are police fatal shootings and police personnel are investigated, very few of them are charged and even fewer are convicted. So they say that suggests that the police's use of force is justified because they are fighting heavily armed criminals intent on causing maximum harm, mayhem even. Do you buy that argument, or do you still think that there is grounds for improvement where police-civilian interaction are concerned, where fatal incidents occur?
There's always growth for improvement when there's excessive use of police force and when someone dies at the hands of a police officer who ultimately is maybe not charged, or convicted in a court of law. An officer is supposed to serve and protect. And we know that there's been reports that percentage have increased, and the community wants answers as to why these officers are not being charged accordingly. And when you have law enforcement investigating law enforcement who were engaged in excessive use, it doesn't seem like there's a third independent party that's conducting these investigations. So again, that goes to the public's perception of maybe it's not.
I would tell you before we go to the break, Casey, that the Independent Commission of Investigations does exist. It's a commission of parliament, and its job is to investigate reports of abuse of power or worse against the security forces, namely the police and the JDF, and of course, members of the Department of Correctional Services. I'll pick up that point with you after this break. This is Lead Story on CVM TV. It's a Monday. More after these.
Is paving the way to becoming a republic or future or choice. The time by the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs is
6:45. BCIC is giving up to $5 million in free content insurance.
We've developed a free online calculator. So anybody in Jamaica, any homeowner can go on to BCIC online. You don't even have to be a BCIC customer, and it will give you a building value.
When you update your home's rebuilding cost with our online calculator, you'll get $5 million in free content insurance and up to 12 months to pay your premium.
If you're not insured, go get it now. Better to be safe than sorry.
Every dream conquered is another dream game. I land and I fly again like a jet plane. Headed straight in your direction, 'cause I'm wiser, one step closer. I'm winning 'cause I work so hard. And the music keeps on playing, and the people them I say we are my show tonight. Keep on believing in the power of the feeling. Whatever you want, take a chance. Song in your heart, step in your dance. You got a spark, don't fit the dark, shine your lights
Casey Early, a member of the defense bar in Florida. She is from Early Law Firm and Andrea's Service President, AD Enterprise. She's also a registered nurse. They are my guests as we hear from the diaspora their perspectives on the general election 2025. We expect the announcement of the election date on Sunday in Halfway Tree, where the Prime Minister is expected to tell the nation when they will go to the polls. Now, our friends and family in the diaspora don't have a vote, but they are very, very important to what happens here. You don't need me to tell you about the support from diasporans in terms of remittances, and then there are other indirect means of assistance that the diaspora provides, maintaining and sustaining families and households here in Jamaica. So without them, we would not be anywhere near where we are if we think indeed that we're making progress. Ladies, I want to take you to just to finish up the point, Acacia, concerning law enforcement and the oversight that exists. So INDECOM, as the Commission of Parliament, you know this very well, exists to do the investigations and to do the charges. And what the police say is that, look, there are many videos of civilians disobeying the lawful instructions of police personnel, attacking police personnel even when the civilian is outnumbered. So what makes you feel, they will ask, that someone who has a gun and has criminal intent will not train that weapon on law enforcement? And they say that this is the real struggle that law enforcement face daily. So in exchange of gunfire, a superior trained policeman or woman is going to come out on top. And they say this is what accounts for the high number of police fatal shootings we are seeing. I want to hear your perspective on that.
Absolutely. And just to go back, there is an independent organization that investigates police brutality as well as excessive force. But the people want there to be a follow through or follow up with disciplinary actions if that independent investigation determines that that police officer was deemed to either use excessive force or did not utilize his training and experience properly, as opposed to just closing the case and not showing the people that there was some form of punishment or some form of training so that these numbers can decrease. And there's also been suggestions that, possibly start to roll in a body worn camera so that we can see what really and truly happened, because the majority of these excessive use of police force is typically not caught on camera. So you're dealing with the police side versus the civilian side. So the people just want to make sure that this is a fair process and that disciplinary actions are in fact carried through.
Hear you on that. Andrea Service, the issue of how Jamaica is perceived overseas. You live there, you work there. Do you have a better feeling about how your colleagues who are not from Jamaica see your country of birth? Do you yourself have a better view about how you view Jamaica from your position outside the country?
I would not like to be anything else than a Jamaican. I'm truly inspired, especially with the friends and folks and the people who works with our company, especially who are non-Jamaicans. They're supercharged and excited about Jamaica. Whenever I tell them about Jamaica, they all visit and come back with positive news. The most negativity I hear about Jamaica is sometimes Jamaicans themselves, but most of the feedbacks are positive from people outside of Jamaica, including other islanders. So I am super excited on the direction Jamaica is taking and the positive look and the decrease in crime rate and increase in economic policies and governance. As I said before, we will not be perfect in a moment, but with time, if we all teamwork together, if we all educate ourselves together, if we all start speaking positive together, if we start going back to Jamaica and building Jamaica just like our other cultures are doing for their country. They're not cursing their country. Look at what is going on in the Middle East, but they are still fighting to maintain the principle of Israel and the Middle East. So let's do some due diligence and don't forget that our primary education, if it wasn't for Jamaica, I would be where I am now. And the culture that has developed in me in terms of morals, the principle, the home that I was coming from. We didn't have much, but I make sure, study hard, work 2-3 jobs to get where I want to. And you just can't be a lazy person. You have to be willing to put in your part in society. Most of us are born with 2 hands, 2 foot. So let's work to make Jamaica improve. And that's all I have to say. I could have had excuse not having a father figure growing up. I could have many excuses of not being somewhere in life, but I put hard and with principle, and I believe in giving back to what was given to you. Someone pay forward. So if we start keeping that positive momentum, we can do good and adopt other kids on their education program and talk back, be a big brother or a big sister to our country.
Hear you on that. Kesia, is this, as we prepare to go to the polls to decide, is this a country you see moving in the right direction and which has a viable choice going to the polls whenever it is that the election is called?
Absolutely. And you know what? I was just talking, this special shout out to Sean Contractor Edwards. I was just talking to him about the potential, the greatness that Jamaica has. In fact, my dad was born in Spanish Town in Jamaica, and my mom was born here. So I have the best of both worlds, but I am invested in Jamaica. If you don't have land, I'm telling my family, I'm telling my friends to purchase land in Jamaica, build up. And in addition to purchasing my house in Jamaica, I'm also starting a business in Jamaica. Yes, I can do that here. I have a very successful law firm here in Florida, but I see the potential in Jamaica. And I want to also encourage the people of Jamaica to make sure that they have business opportunities. And if it takes me to start a business to help someone financially, I intend to do that. There's great leadership. There's great people that live there, but there is potential, but we need the leaders to put the people first. What good is having this great country if we're not being other people centered? So there is great potential in this beautiful country.
Quick question for you, Kesia. Do you believe that given the role it plays that the diaspora ought to have a vote in Jamaican national elections?
Absolutely. I truly believe that because there's so many things that we're doing, especially with myself, my law firm. We send barrels and containers and items. We collect donations financially. The diaspora together collects millions of dollars. We make a great impact, not just for, recognition. We do that for the heart of the people. But I do believe that there should be some input in the election so that we can continue to grow together.
Yeah.
Just as my colleague stated, this is a team effort.
Yeah.
We cannot do this alone. And the diaspora makes a great and significant contribution to the people. And we do think it is necessary to build up the country. We all are in this together. We have the common goal to build up Jamaica.
Andrea, do you believe in a diaspora vote?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We shape Jamaica daily and we impact Jamaica right where we are every day. So I do think we should have definitely access to a diaspora vote.
Right. And I couldn't do this without asking counsel. This new imposition of the bond that the Trump administration had in 2020, but COVID scuppered its implementation. They've brought it back. I can see many people fretting about this. Your view on this bond, Acacia Early.
Yeah, so I hear that it was an incentive to make sure that they return back into their home country. But there's a lot of red tape and red line in that immigration part needs to kind of iron out. So we just want to make sure that those Jamaicans or anyone from the country that comes in follow the rules, go through the proper application process so that if they do decide to stay here, become naturalized citizens, it's done the proper way. But, I just hope that the immigration rules will afford people to come in the right way and enjoy the country and vice versa.
Here you